Hey guys, this is Sunsfan with a very basic tutorial and overview of Dota Underlords. If you don't know much about the auto chess genre, then this is the video for you. If you are familiar, then fret not, as we will be coming out with many more videos of all skill levels in due time. The first thing you need to know is Underlords is based off the very popular mod Auto Chess that resides within the Dota 2 client. There are a lot of variants coming out based on it, and Underlords is Valve's official version. The concept of the game is relatively simple. You're essentially playing a free-for-all against 7 other people, and your goal is to be the last one standing. You might have gathered this already based on the original game's name of Auto Chess, but once your units are set, they battle other heroes automatically without any intervention from you. There are a few terms that you need to be familiar with. First, we have heroes. They're the units that you're buying and placing on the board. They come in 5 tiers, and generally the more expensive they are, the better they are. Each hero comes with either an active or passive ability, and if you're familiar with Dota, many of them are the same. Every hero starts the battle with 0 mana, and in order to cast their active abilities, they'll need to get their maximum mana of 100. Mana is gained by either taking or dealing damage. Another important aspect of heroes is their alliances. Each hero comes with 2, and in some cases 3. Mixing and matching certain alliances is the goal of the game. We'll be making future videos about alliances, but to give an example, the Warrior Alliance becomes active with a minimum of 3 warriors on the board at the same time, providing those units with plus 10 armor. You get a total of 15 armor if you grab 3 more, and if you end up with 9 warriors in the late game, they will gain 25 armor. Each alliance works in different ways, but most of them have tiers. Generally speaking, the more you have, the more powerful the combination will become. Now let's briefly talk about items. The first 3 rounds you'll go against neutral creeps. The next creep round is at round 10, and then every 5 rounds thereafter. When the round is over, you'll have a choice of 3 items. If you lost though, then 2 of your items will be grayed out at random, meaning you're left with only 1 item to take. Items come in 4 categories, which again, we'll talk about in more detail in another video. But here are the absolute basics. There are offensive items, which will generally provide attack damage. Then there's defensive items, which will provide either HP or armor, and then there's the support items, which will provide either mana or ability altering effects. As usual, there are exceptions to what I just said, but we won't delve any further at this time. Just know that much like heroes, there are different tiers of items. The higher the creep level, the better chance you'll have at getting the higher tier items. The last item are global items, which will just passively provide you with some effect, whether it be for a specific alliance or just in general. If you pick up anything other than the global items, you can equip 1 per hero, and the great thing about that is you can swap them freely at any point. One more term you should be familiar with is gold. I'm sure you've heard that one before, but how exactly do you accumulate it? Every single round you will gain 5 gold no matter what. If you win a round, you gain 1 additional gold. On top of that, you can gain extra gold by going on a win streak or even a lose streak. But the one very important thing to consider when talking about gold is the interest. For every 10 gold you have, you will gain 10% interest with a cap at 50. So what exactly does that mean? Well, if you have between 10 and 19 gold, for example, at the end of a round, you will get 1 additional gold in interest, and it'll just keep going up until 50. So at 50 or more gold, you will be provided with 5 additional gold. Okay, you probably get it at this point, but how do you get these heroes exactly? That's where the buy menu comes into play. At the beginning of every round, you will see 5 heroes pop up on your screen, which you can then buy with the gold that you've accumulated throughout the game. You can purchase them at any point, and they will at first reside on your bench. This is the area at the bottom that can hold up to 8 units at a time. You can put them into play at any point quite easily. And a nice little feature is when you're in the process of placing a unit, you might see some different color lines attached. If you have any synergies, it will connect those with other heroes. That brings us to leveling. Every unit, no matter the rarity, starts out as a 1-star hero. If you're able to get 3 of those 1-star heroes, they will combine into a 2-star unit. Generally speaking, their stats will be doubled and their abilities will get stronger. If you're able to get 3 of these 2-star units together, they will combine into a 3-star hero, which again will double their stats and increase their abilities' power. 3-star heroes are the maximum you can attain and are pretty difficult to get. At any point, you can sell heroes. If they're a 1-star unit or a 2-star consisted of 1-cost heroes, it ends up being a full refund. But if it's any other 2-star or 3-star unit, you will technically lose gold when selling. Now let's get to the leveling of the Underlord, aka you. Whatever level you are is how many units you can have on a board at a time, with the maximum being 10. There of course is an exception to this in the form of a global item, but we will ignore that for now. For the most part, each subsequent level requires more and more XP. Each round that passes, you get only 1 experience, so in order to level up in a lot of cases, you need to spend money. For 5 gold, you can get 4 experience, and with each level increase, you'll have a better chance of getting more powerful units. How else can you spend your gold, you ask? Well, that's where rolling comes into play. Remember how you get those 5 heroes to choose from at the beginning of the round? Well, you can spend 2 gold to get 5 new ones, and you can just keep doing that over and over. And the last basic question we'll ask is, how do people get knocked out? Well, the easiest way to think about this is that each of the 8 players in the game has their own board, and with each battle, they can only take damage from their board. Let's try to make this a little simpler. Let's say we have 8 people in a game. Now let's say that the board that I'm using is my home board. My opponent is Neil. If he beats me on my home board, then I will take damage based on how many units of his survive. But from his home board, he's fighting someone entirely different, so they aren't really connected at all. So aside from the few exceptions during a normal game, you will generally have a home board, and you'll have a copy of your board fighting someone else on theirs. We can call that the away board. Now that you have learned some of the basics, let's wrap up this video by showing some of the user interface. The board itself is an 8x8 grid, half of which you're able to place your units. On the top half of the board, you can see what your current and maximum unit output is. Focusing on the left side of the screen first, you can see the 8 players listed. The order is based off of total HP, which is the biggest number on your avatar. In the top left of the avatar itself is the current gold, and the circle on the right is the current level. If you see someone's avatar accompanied by flames, it means that they're currently on a win streak. Loose streaks are indicated by the smoking effect. You can also see a bigger version of the Underlord avatar for yourself or the enemies on each respective board. Towards the top right is the current round and time remaining. And as you can see on the right side of the screen, it's divided into 3 big buttons. The first is your alliances. The ones that are lit up are the active ones. The second button is a stats panel with 5 different tabs. The first tab is overall damage done by each unit. Their damage updates live and are color sorted by attack damage, ability damage, and then item damage. The second tab is damage per second. The third is damage taken, the fourth is healing, and the final tab is kills. And the third and final button is for items. It will clearly show whether an item is equipped or not. And finally, on the bottom right is our gold counter and the shop. The shop itself shows the current 5 heroes with their price and alliances listed. As you can see, the shop itself has 2 buttons on each side. On the top left is a Heropedia, which provides more information on heroes and items, and the second is a lock. The lock will allow you to keep the current set of 5 heroes for the next round. Every round this will unlock automatically. And then on the right side is the 2 gold reroll button and the buy XP for 5 gold button. And that, my friends, concludes this very basic tutorial. We hope it helps you get started. Of course, stay tuned for more advanced videos to come in the near future. Please remember to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. This is Sunsfan signing out.